In the semi-arid northeast of Brazil, water is a precious resource. In 1988, the Itaparica Dam was constructed to build a huge reservoir for electricity generation. After long negotiations among representatives of former land users and the hydroelectric company, relocation and compensation measures were set up. Years after the dam construction, farmers could finally grow crops in new plots allocated to them. Water from the reservoir has been used for irrigation agriculture, drinking water, for fish farming and aquaculture. Immediate access to agro shops and the advice of agricultural extension officers triggered the intensive and widespread use of pesticides in irrigated fields. A few landowners champion alternative options for pest management, which are more healthy to people and the environment. Who are these champions and why are they not recognized? Who are the main players hindering change? And where are the entry points for innovation? These were questions to be answered using a Constellation Analysis workshop. A moderator facilitates 5 steps of the analysis. The first step helps to clarify the goal of the analysis and the workshop. The main question being discussed in this case: what is hindering or favoring the use of alternative, less dangerous and less costly pest control practices? In the second step, the participants identify elements that play a crucial role in addressing the main question. Actors are ideally also participants. In this case, farmers who apply relatively high rates of chemical pesticides, as well as farmers having developed innovative pest management practices, representatives of farmer associations, farmer extension services, local governments, and scientists. Rules or concepts such as environmental and agricultural laws on chemical use, water availability, and the values and responsibilities of people. Technical elements such as alternative techniques of fertilizer use and pest control, and the role of agricultural demonstration plots. Natural elements such as the fauna and flora affected by pesticide use, biodiversity, and water. The relationships between the different elements can vary from straightforward, directional, conflicting, to non-existent. Step 3 is the visualization of the constellation. The participants arrange the identified elements on a whiteboard. Each one explains her or his arguments for placing the elements and their relations. The visualization is developed in a negotiation process among all participants until they agree on a final version. In general, people start by placing what they think is the key element to address the question in the center of the whiteboard. Here, for example, farmers of irrigation projects. They then show the relation between them and add new elements and their relation to the others. Elements can also be removed or rearranged by the group. Discussions emerge on why to add or remove and in which way to connect the cards. People debate until finding a consensus. In this way, conflict and successful cooperation can be highlighted. Both could be important entry points for action. Step 4 is the joint interpretation of the constellation. The participants identify weak or missing elements in relationships and formulate recommendations for action. For instance, that more environmental education is necessary as an important driver for change. Another suggestion is to create demonstration plots at schools or in agricultural fields with alternative techniques of pest control. Critical issues are discussed, like missing title deeds, excluding farmers from getting credits. In the last step, they summarize the conclusions of the workshop. The written documentation includes the digitized visualization of the constellation analysis in a legible and clear presentation, and a report on the final conclusions. This is shared with the active participants. I found it interesting because it was a debate between 2 types of agriculture, which becomes the same agriculture. Finally, it's the food for us to eat. So those who took part may become champions in the future, even better than I am.
Pode ser conhecedor até melhor do que eu na agroecologia. Uma parceria.
What I felt with the interactive method was a way to see that at the end of the tunnel is a partnership, and the farmers who are the main focus. Without farmers, the pieces don't fit. One cannot assemble the puzzle without them.
Temos que se reunir.
We have to come together, to discuss, to plan, right? For me, it's a pleasure.
Sim, eu acho muito importante, porque eles
Yes, I find it very important because they actually put forward their desires, and the engineers and the government officers at both municipal and state levels can develop better policies for that problem.
ideais para aquela problemática, né? Quando você utiliza uma dinâmica metodológica,
When we use an interactive method, such as the Constellation Analysis, each participant sees his or her role and the importance of it, and what their own mistakes are, what each of us is doing or not doing for the sake of everyone. So for me, the importance of this methodology is that everyone can clearly recognize what he or she is doing right or wrong to make our world a better one.
para melhoria de todo mundo.
Constellation Analysis is a low-cost exercise that helps find consensus or acceptance among different actor positions. Participants share their perceptions about roles, responsibilities, agendas, missing elements, and so on, and finally jointly find options for action. To be successful, careful moderation is crucial to avoid individuals from dominating the process. Discussed results are supported with scientific evidence to identify and justify options for action. Constellation analysis raises the understanding of complex situations and develops a shared vision for joint action.